This is a mentoring project to record the last year and a half on JFS Camden site. What you're about to see is a series of interviews of teachers. The interviewees are all members of staff or students.
Interviewing Miss Robbins on the 25th of July 2001 by Leo Harrell and Ben Dion. How long have you worked at JFS?
I've worked at JFS all my working life, and that is in excess of 2 decades.
What exactly does your job involve?
Looking after very, very many people from many points of view, both students and teachers, and then of course parents, looking after them in the sense of trying to give them the best possible service that we can as a school, and to bring out the best opportunities for them. Every single day I will be talking to parents, to teachers, to governors, to students, to inspectors, to a whole range of people, often from all over the world, who want to come and find out about JFS or ask my advice about something. I spend a lot of time planning strategically for the future. Things may seem as if they just happen, but many of them have taken ages and ages to think through in advance. And of course, one of the most important aspects of my job is to deal with problems in a way that enables us to find reasonable solutions to everything. Because when you're working with a huge population, which we are at JFS, human beings and their lives are not necessarily always smooth. Okay.
Can you remember how you felt on your first day here? What was it like?
When I came to JFS for the very first time, I had been in England for about 4 months. I was brought up and educated in South Africa. In the 4 months after I arrived here, I started doing supply teaching in a number of London schools. I remember being incredibly shocked at all sorts of things. Behaviour of students. These were schools all over London. Quite a lot of violence in the classrooms. It was very, very different from anything I'd experienced before. And in my last school, the head teacher popped in to see me in a classroom. He said, "Miss Robbins, you may want to know that there's a big Jewish school in London, and it may be that you want to inquire about possibly working there." I didn't know why he said that to me. I didn't know that he knew I was Jewish. But in any event, I explored the information, I discovered JFS, and I came to JFS. I have to say that even at JFS, although there was obviously no violence or many things that I saw everywhere else, I was very frightened. England was very new. The whole culture, the whole educational culture was very different. I remember being particularly surprised at how teachers dressed. I remember the occasional teacher in a skirt that I thought was too short, wasn't setting the right, all that sort of stuff. But eventually I began to get to know people and settle into it all, and of course now I'm more than comfortable in this environment.
What are your favourite memories of JFS so far?
Oh, my favourite memories or of teaching in a classroom. I do far too little of that these days, and the experience of teaching and seeing students learn and become excited about what they're learning is a very, very thrilling experience. So I think that's what I'll remember more than anything. Certainly when I one day retire, it will probably be less the memories of the classroom experience than it will be about thinking of all those students who in many ways succeeded above and beyond the odds, students who had a range of difficulties or challenges and who emerged as happy, healthy people because of everything that the JFS team did.
So, what do you enjoy most about your job?
The challenges, perhaps, because challenges always stretch you and make you think. But I think the most important thing I enjoy is the opportunity to, in simple words, to do good for other people. The opportunity to be able to help other people in some way, to improve or to feel happier as people or get more satisfaction out of their jobs and their lives. Those more general things, but they're very, very important things, I think, in life.
What do you think you'll be missing about the Camden site?
It's much easier to think about what I won't be missing, but what I think I will miss is that, oddly enough, one of the great disadvantages for us here is that it's so tight and tiny and constrained in relation to the huge population we have, which of course got bigger over the years, and the school was never built for a population anything like our size. But positive things come out of adversity. And I think one of the great things that happened here at JFS, because of all the crush and the crowd and everything else, was that it developed a very particular buzz. And when we move into our new school, which is very much bigger and more spread out, I'll be interested to see how much of that buzz is still there. All sorts of other great opportunities will be there. So I'll see. Maybe I'm imagining something that won't be the case, but we'll see.
What are you most looking forward to about the new school?
I can't say too much on this film because it would be unfair to other students, but there are a range of incredibly exciting new and different opportunities additional to everything we do here in Camden Town that we'll be able to offer both our students and our staff in the new school. And that, I think, is the most exciting thing of all, together with the fact that we will be much closer to the heart of the Jewish community, and in that situation, geographically, we're going to be able to expand considerably a lot of the Jewish side and Jewish activities in the school in relation to the wider community up there. So that's going to be a very exciting opportunity as well.
Thank you very much, Miss Robbins, for giving up your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I think you're doing an absolutely great piece of work here. A super idea, and I'm delighted so many teachers have been happy to respond, and I'm sorry I kept you waiting so much this morning. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is an interview with Miss Selina recording the last 2 years of JFS at Camden. It's the 30th of May 2001. So Miss Selina, how long have you been working at JFS now?
Oh, the answer is too long, but it's something like, I think, 18 years now. It is quite a long time. I was trying to work this out the other day and I was quite surprised by the answer.
I've seen many students go through the school.
I have indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, what does your job involve, and describe a typical day for us?
Gosh. Well, I'm responsible for Year 9 at the moment, as Nick knows. I'm also an English teacher first and foremost. And I've got some responsibility in the school for literacy. So I've got 3 sort of roles, which I see as of equal importance, although I think my English teacher role is much more important to me, probably than anything else.
Can you remember how it felt on your first day here? What was the school like then?
It was very different. I was a humble English teacher up in the what is now the Beta Midrash, so it was quite funny and it was very strange. It was also incredibly good for me to be sighted up there because it was alongside the JS department, and so if I didn't understand anything or I didn't know anything, I had very little distance to run to ask. So in fact, in retrospect, that was good for me. The first day I came, we had tannoid prayers, and for some reason or another, and I was absolutely entranced, and I thought, yes, this is the right school for me, this is fascinating.
Okay, what are your favourite memories of your time at JFS so far?
Oh, and there are lots and lots with individual students. One of the things that I remember with Mr. Jeffrey, who's my deputy, and I remember with real affection, is the last year group who left, and we had a musical concert that ran through the whole morning, and that was really wonderful because loads of people sang, and it was a very important event for all of us. I think it was very emotional, very moving.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
Just every day with the students. You never ever know what one day will bring. And I laugh a lot. I think actually I forget how old I am very often because I spend so much time sort of laughing, and I think it's very good to be around young people. And I just very much enjoy the students here, very special students.
What will you miss most about the Camden site?
What I miss most, personally, is the travel. It doesn't take me very long to get to. I think it's that. And I think it's memories, isn't it? It's memories of doing things and, just being here. I can't say I really miss the building a great deal.
What are you most looking forward to about the new school and the future for JFS?
Well, the building.
Yeah.
It will be just wonderful to be in something purpose-built. And I'm just hoping, I don't think it can happen because if the people who are here move to a new building, they'll still be the same people. And I'm hoping that JFS will retain its sense of community and its sense of purpose in the new building.
Yeah.
Though why it shouldn't, I don't know. It's just that funny, if you move house, you're not any different when you move house. Just the effect it has on people, I suppose.
Thank you for letting us take part in this interview today. And Nicholas Reed and
Benjamin Lee.
This is an interview with Mr. J. Miller on the 6th of June 2001. The interview is conducted by Adam Rushman and Zari Raymond. How long have you worked at JFS?
Well, hello. I've been working at JFS for almost 17 years now, and I've had a variety of different jobs within the school. This is the only school I've ever taught at, and I started off as an ordinary classroom teacher, and I've had a variety of different tasks in that time.
So what does your job involve? Describe it to us.
Okay. Well, part of my job is that I'm the head of science at the school, and virtually every day I start off by making sure I go up to the science department, see my colleagues in the science department, find out what the issues are that are important for them, and also importantly make sure I get a cup of coffee. The other side of my job is that I'm a senior teacher at the school, and I'm responsible for a variety of things that happen within the school. So if there are room changes that cause you confusion by going from one place to another, I'm afraid that's down to me usually. And at the moment I'm working on the school's timetable for next year, so deciding which lessons you're having and when you're going to be having them.
Can you remember how you felt at your first day here? What was it like?
I do remember the first day that I walked into this building. The first day I walked into the building was before I was formally employed at the school, and it was a visit to try and see how my time at JFS was going to be. I didn't know JFS at all at that time. You hear all sorts of things about JFS before you come to the school. I was a bit nervous coming here on that first day. Within 2 paces into the building, and this was at a time before we had a security department here, Within 2 paces, I was greeted by a student who smiled at me and said, "Hello, can I help you?" And what that student was saying, in effect, was, "I don't know you, what are you doing here?" which I thought was very healthy, because it showed that they were aware that one has to be cautious of students, of strangers coming into the school, or students who want students in the school. But it also showed that the school was a welcoming place, and that's certainly been my experience of the school ever since.
What are your favourite memories of your time at JFS so far?
That's a difficult one to answer, because over 17 years, there are a lot of things that I remember here at JFS. I think the thing that sticks in my mind the most are the students, the various students that one comes across throughout the time here. I have memories of students who have delighted me because they have had a real flair for my subject and done very well. I'm aware of students who have gone on to do PhDs in chemistry at Oxford University. I remember being very excited about students who did not have a flair for my subject, but who worked their heart out and managed to get a result, and for them that was really, really very, very good. But the other things that I remember, which are really fun, are the things outside the classroom. I very much enjoy the musical and other productions that take place, because it allows you to see students in quite a different light from the way that we see you in the classroom. And some years ago now, I was able to play a part in arranging the play on Purim. And on that particular occasion, the previous head teacher participated in the actual play, and I have a very fond memory of her wafting onto the stage to the sound of the Eurythmics' "There Must Be an Angel," which brought the house down because it was quite a sight.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
What do I enjoy most about my job? There are a lot of things. I think it's going to be the students again. I like the fact that because JFS is a community school, you see students everywhere, current and ex-students. I live in the heart of the Jewish community, and I see ex-students a great deal of the time. When I go to Shul on Shabbat, I see ex-students very frequently, and you're often stopped in the street. And I like that, because it shows that if students have moved on from the school, and then they come across you later on, they don't just run a mile because they don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. They have little memories of their time at JFS, and it's nice to keep in contact that way.
So what will you miss most about the Camden site?
Well, this building is quite old now, and I think that there will be lots of things that we will be very happy to move away from when we're moving to the new school. But a building is more than just a building. And there are places in this school that hold memories of people, both teachers and students, and things that have gone right, and sometimes things that have gone wrong, which are quite fun. And those are the things that one has to leave behind when moving away from the school. One of the things that I've enjoyed doing whilst at JFS as head of science is that some of the labs that you have science lessons in at the moment have changed over the last 10 to 15 years. We've rebuilt them, redeveloped them. That's been exciting to play a part in. So moving away from that is something that I will miss. We will be moving on to better facilities.
What are you most looking forward to at the new school?
I'm looking forward to those better facilities. I'm looking forward, first and foremost, to having wider corridors so that there isn't such a crush. One of the things I've done while at JFS is act as a traffic warden just outside the head of science office and a mini roundabout to try and unlock the knot of students that can get bogged down at that particular location. So wider corridors will be delightful. The new laboratories I know are going to be delightful. There are going to be a lot of them. There are going to be big laboratories. The computing facilities are going to be fabulous, and a lot of other things will feature in the new school we simply don't have here at Camden. Those are things that I look forward to, and just the view, because we're going to be able to look out and see green grass on a large amount of the space around the building instead of the concrete jungle we're in at Camden.
If there is anything you feel would be particularly interesting or important for us to know about your job, please tell us in advance that we can make our questions relevant.
I think we've covered most of the things that you've identified there in the questions that we've already discussed. But if there are other things you'd like to talk about on another occasion, I'll be very happy to do so.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving up your time in order to the interview by us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
With Mr. Winkworth, I am Doran and this is Scott. How long have you worked at JFS?
This is my 24th year at JFS.
for a long time.
I've done 24 years.
What does your job involve? Like, describe a typical day.
I've got a number of different responsibilities. I teach mostly sixth form classes for business studies. I'm a head of year, currently head of year 11, and I'm also the school's assessment coordinator, which means I collect a lot of the information from tests and examinations that students do. On a normal day, I get up at 5:30, leave home at 6, drive to school, so I've got a long journey, I drive to school and I get here just after 7.
An hour's drive.
Just over an hour's drive on a good day. And then the first part of my day is a mixture of doing some of my paperwork and speaking to all of the tutors that are in my year team. So every tutor that works with year 11 comes into my office in the morning, collects their register and finds out any particular things that we have to do. Then assemblies perhaps some days, tutor periods other days. Then I go about my teaching during the day. Some days, if I don't have lessons, I might have to meet with parents, I have to meet with students. At lunchtime I may be supervising lunches. Same again in the afternoon with lessons or appointments. And then at about 4 o'clock, if I don't have a staff meeting after school, I go home. Reverse the drive.
Can you remember how you felt on your first day at JFS and what was it like?
It's quite a long time ago, as you now know. On my first day, I had a lift to JFS by somebody who was already a teacher here. Mr. Willis brought me to school. So it was quite nice arriving on my first day with other people who already knew the school.
And you knew Mr. Willis?
And I knew Mr. Willis. My first job here at JFS was as a PE teacher in the PE department. So when I arrived here, Mr. Willis took me along to the PE department and I met all the other PE teachers. I can remember one very, very good thing on my first day that I found out that I didn't know before. Because I didn't know much about JFS before I came here. At least I didn't know very much about some of the special things about JFS. And I just qualified as a teacher. It's my first job teaching. I come straight here from college, started in September, I think it was the 1st of September, and I didn't know anything about the special holidays that we have here. And somebody told me on my first day here, oh, you know we've got a holiday on Friday, and you know in 2 weeks' time we've got a holiday for Sukkot. And, well, wow, wonderful, what a job I've got here.
So much fun to do. What are your favourite memories of your time at JFS so far?
I think favourite memories come in different kinds. Some are sort of just gloriously cheerful occasions. I can remember, I've been head of year for quite a long time now, and I can remember days when some of my previous year groups have celebrated leaving on their last day, and we've had lots of fun, and that's been nice. But there's one very special memory that I don't think I'll ever forget, which has a much more serious side to it. It was on a school trip to Poland, and as you can imagine, going to Poland, we go to lots of places where things are very, very sad. We see lots of things that could leave you feeling very, very depressed. And one of the places we went to was one of the death camps, Treblinka. And while we were there, it was raining quite heavily, and the group of students that I was with were all students that were in my year group, and they were, at the time we went, they were in the sixth form, and they stood around what was one of the ovens at Treblinka, and they prayed and they sang. One of the Israeli students wrapped herself in the Israeli flag, and rather than being a sad occasion, it was one that I felt was very uplifting. It was a real show of spirit, courage and hope for the future. So out of something that could be very, very sad was a very moving memory that filled me with lots and lots of hope for young people and what they could achieve in the world.
What will you miss most about the school and the Camden site?
Lots of memories, I think. So over the course of 24 years here, there's lots of things I've seen that were fun. But there's one thing in particular that I'll miss. When I first came here, on my first day here, Mr. Willis took me down to meet the school keeper so I could get my bunch of keys. And the school keeper then looked at me and he said, you're in the PE department, aren't you? I said, yes. So what's that got to do with it? Well, you won't need a key to the lift, will you? Not if you're in the PE department. You can go up and down the stairs. I still don't have a key to the lift. I still go up and down the stairs. So what I'm going to miss is something I always thought was a real challenge, to try to get to retirement age without ever using the lift. I'm not going to do that now.
And also, what are you most looking forward to about the new school?
I think that the fact that it is a new school is very exciting. It's an opportunity to start doing things different, to experience new facilities, to be working on a school that has grounds that are big enough to have its own playing fields outside. So lots of exciting things could happen in a new school, and I'm looking forward to that because it's a very unusual opportunity for a teacher. Not many teachers have ever had the chance to pick up a school and take it somewhere else and see what happens. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you very much for giving up your time in order to be interviewed by us.
You're more than welcome. Anytime.
Amy and Jacob's interview for Vicky. Vicky, how long have you worked at JFS for?
Very nearly 30 years.
30 years is a long time.
It is. Very long time.
What does your job involve usually?
Well, if you want to borrow a television set, or if you want a tape recorder, or if one of the teachers wants something designed, if the students need help with designing a game or something like that, they come to me for the materials. I do display work, I take photographs, all those sorts of things.
That's a very hard job compared to a teacher's job.
It's only hard in as much as I feel it's like putting on lots of different hats. So I'll maybe have one hat on my head, which is graphic designer, and I'm designing something. Somebody comes through the door and they want some photographs taking. So I then have to put that hat on and go out and do that. And maybe halfway to the door the phone will ring and somebody will want to know whether they can borrow a television set or something. So I'm then going to sort of try and book that in. So that's the hard part, that you have to do so many things all at the same time. But it's fun.
Out of your 30 years, describe a typical day for us.
Haven't got a typical day, so I can't actually do that because that scenario I've just described is most days. In as much as you'll come in the morning and think, right, I'm going to do this, and you never do it because you'll start it and then somebody will interrupt you. So a typical day is an interrupted sort of a day, really.
So yeah, go about how you felt on your first day here, and what was it like?
First day here, there were no students in the building, which was a help. But there are an awful lot of staff. There are over 100 staff here, and I remember thinking, how on earth am I ever going to really know all of these people? Because it was about 3 times the size of the school I've worked in before. And I mainly remember, trying to meet person after person, really.
Did you feel scared, or did you feel like, oh, I'm so glad to be here?
Yeah, I was really pleased to be here, actually. It seemed to be a nice atmosphere and nice people. And I soon found out how nice the students were. Very, very, very nice students.
What are your favourite memories of your time at JFS so far?
Things like sports days and anything working with students, I think, has been really good fun.
Do you spend more time with the teachers or students?
Really lately with students mostly. Yeah, long periods of time.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
I think the fact that it is very challenging, that you're never bored, never been bored here, because there's so much to do. And I think that's what I like most about it, actually.
So when you get out of bed in the morning, you always think, I've got something new to do today. It's not the same routine every day.
That's right.
Something to look
Yes, I always think, what is it that's going to go wrong today? You know, because there's quite a big factor of things going wrong, and how can I stop that going wrong and make sure I don't forget various things and check all the lists of stuff.
What will you miss most about the Camden side?
I think the drive in, because I drive here and you go through Regent's Park and Kensington and places like that and up onto the Westway, and it's a really interesting drive. Whereas to go to Kenton, it's going to be the North Circular, which is everybody's favourite road, isn't it? And so I'd probably miss that. And I like Camden itself. I think there's a buzz here which I would miss.
Camden is a lot more busy and a lot of noise.
Yeah. Stop the camera.
Busier than the new school where the new school's going to be.
I think, from my point of view, I've always worked in the inner city, even when I wasn't working in education, and therefore it's going to be very strange working in the suburbs, which I haven't done since I worked for Thompson's Yellow Pages telephone directories, which was 30 odd years ago in Ealing, and I haven't worked in an outer part since then, so it's going to be really odd.
So you've travelled to many places in the last 30 years?
Yeah, I've had about half a dozen different jobs, some of them in the West End, in shops and music publishers and Shatterboyd and Oliver, the children's book publishers. So, but it's all been in a city apart from the Ealing job, yeah.
So you know a lot about technology and things?
Not all that much. I know just about as much as I need to know for what I do. I'm not an expert. I'm a graphic designer.
Well, it's more exciting with knowing all these different jobs instead of having one job for the last 30 years.
Yeah, it has been interesting. Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to about the new school?
I think it'd be lovely to have playing fields, you know, and just a bit more air and a bit healthier probably. So and a new building would be very nice, wouldn't it? I think we're going to enjoy having a beautiful, clean building.
And there's going to be a lot more space as well, isn't there?
Yes, I think the site will be a great deal.
The corridors won't be crowded.
That's right, yeah, so that it might be a little bit quieter, perhaps, but knowing you lot, perhaps not.
Is there anything you feel you would be particularly interested in or important for us to know about your job? Please tell us in advance so that we can make our question.
Never mind. Cut it
Oh,
off.
sorry.
I've done it.
I didn't realise I was reading it. I thought that was part of the question.
We've done it. It's okay, we can edit it.
I don't know, I need to say thank you very much.
Oh, okay, you say thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving up your time in order to be interviewed by us.